all, Tom here, and welcome back to another video on the Racing Joker channel. We're back in my garage doing the final episode of The Garage Season 1. Let me know what you guys thought of this series and whether you'd like to see more. The camera died during the last recording session while I was filming the last topic, and so I recharged the camera, and now it's nighttime and no longer raining, but instead it is snowing, maybe. I don't know. But it's dark, and that actually helps with lighting anyways, as far as I know. Anyways, we are going to be talking about what is the best modern supercar you can buy today for the money. And obviously price and things like that are an important factor, but the main factor that we're going to be discussing today is aftermarket. Which modern supercar has the best aftermarket available to it? And so my answer, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lamborghini Huracan. No surprise there. There's a reason why they're so commonplace. There's so much you can do with them. We've talked about the Liberty Walk GT body kit. There's all sorts of aesthetic things you can do to them, but we're mainly going to be talking about performance. So let's begin. The Lamborghini Huracan is powered by a naturally aspirated 5.2 liter V10. Very, very, very nice. These days, as far as I know, it's possible to find a decent Huracan for under $200,000. That's pretty cool. And in terms of modifications, well, we're just going to be talking about forced induction. And what better way to start than to start with underground racing? Underground racing is the world's leader in twin turboing Lamborghinis, Audi R8s. They've done Ferraris, they've done Dodge Vipers. You can't fail going to underground racing. And so I will be going through all of their kits. I will be giving you the performance figures you can expect to get and how much each kit costs. And so let's begin with the base twin turbo kit. $49,000 US, and you can expect to make 800 wheel horsepower on 93 octane fuel. The stage 1 kit, base isn't stage 1, it's nothing. The stage 1 twin turbo kit is $59,000 US, and on 93 octane fuel, you can make 800 wheel horsepower, but on race gas, which I believe for them is MS-109 race gas, 900 wheel horsepower. The stage 2 twin turbo kit is $69,000 US. You can expect to make 850 wheel horsepower on 93 and 1,000 on race gas. But if you don't want to use race gas and still make 1,000 wheel horsepower, then the stage 3 twin turbo kit might be for you. This kit is different than the previous ones because the engine itself is also modified beyond the addition of turbos. Internals are starting to get changed and upgraded to endure the extra amounts of stress put on the engine. This kit is $99,000 US, fairly pricey, and you can make 1,000 wheel horsepower on 93 octane. But if you want to put race gas in your car, you can then generate 1,400 wheel horsepower. That's no slouch. Up next, you've got the Stage 3 Plus twin turbo kit with modified engine once again, and you can make 1,150 wheel horsepower on 93. That is 1,150. We've already got some crazy numbers here, but on race fuel, it is also 1,400, like the last one. It's only Stage 3 Plus. It's more about increasing what you can do on normal street fuel. But here's the catch. The price of the Stage 3 Plus kit is $175,000. Up next is the race version twin turbo kit, modified engine once again, 1,200 wheel horsepower on 93 and 1,500 on race gas. Up next is the notorious X version twin turbo kit with, according to them, highly modified engine, 1,200 horsepower on 93, not that different from the race version. But on race gas, they say you can generate a range of 2,200 all the way up to 3,000 wheel horsepower on race gas. The whole package is $200,000 or more. So if you want to beat everyone at TX2K, this is basically what you need. You need to have the X version, or the one that comes after that. This is basically what you need to have a chance at beating anybody these days, to be perfectly. If you have less than 1,000 horsepower, or your car isn't like 100 pounds, although you need some serious downforce, otherwise you're just going to take flight. But cars are fast these days. They really, really are. And in case you didn't know, you can actually go to urmotors.com, not Underground Racing, but UR Motors, where you can buy cars that already have their packages installed, which, you know, in case you didn't know, installing these packages can take a long time. Half a year or more, maybe, as far as I'm told. It takes time, and you want them to take time with your car, especially when you're giving them so much money to make your car so fast. You don't want them to mess anything up. But you can buy cars that are already finished and have the packages you want. So here is one that I have listed. I don't know if it's still there now, but here's an example. This is a 2015 Lamborghini Huracan. It's twin turbo. No surprise there. It's on the UR Motor website. The package it has is the Stage X2. So it's the X version, but with some changes. It makes 1,200 horsepower on 93, and it generates 2,500 horsepower on VP import race gas. That's 120 octane. And if you have $599,000 US dollars, the car can be yours whenever you want it. Underground Racing, they make some crazy stuff, some of the best stuff. I mean, this is just the Huracan. Obviously, they can do Aventadors, they can do Ferraris, like the 458, for instance. And there's some other things that are discontinued. They generally work on things that aren't discontinued, but it wouldn't hurt to ask, you know, if you've got a 458 or something like that, or a 488, maybe they might be able to upgrade it and make a 1,500 horsepower 488. Imagine like a 488 Pista with 2,000 horsepower. I don't even know if that's possible, because all of these kits, as they get more and more crazy and higher horsepower, they start using upgraded blocks, upgraded pistons, rods, cams. Everything gets changed. They even swap out the transmission with something from Hollinger. It's no expenses spared. It's basically the best. But if you don't like turbos, and if you don't want 2,000 horsepower, which it sounds cool to everybody, but I don't know. Even from a car guy's standpoint, unless if you're racing it, what are you going to do with 2,000 horsepower apart from go to your high school homecoming and embarrass the guy that has the 500 horsepower Mustang? That's really kind of it. But if you have mile racing, Underground Racing is kind of the way to go. But in my opinion, the Stage 3 or the Stage 3 Plus, the $99,000 or $175,000 kits are kind of the way to go, because you can get 1,000 wheel horsepower on 93 or 1,100 on 93. And since you're most of the time going to be working with 93, if you're driving as a street car, I think that would be the way to go. But of course, if you have the money, you could go with the X version. I mean, no one's stopping you. But up next, if you don't like turbos, there are, of course, Supercharger kits. And today, there are many companies out there that do this. I'm sure a lot of people are going to tell me all the different options. But today, we're just going to be talking about VF Engineering, because I've done a lot of stuff covering them in the past in other videos, and I'm just familiar with them. And so, they've got the Huracan VF 800 kit, 805 horsepower, and 610 pound-feet of torque. Not bad. And plus, it's a supercharger, so you're going to have a supercharger power delivery. That kit is only $32,995 US dollars, a lot cheaper than a lot of the turbo kits I just described. In fact, the cheapest turbo kit from Underground Racing, the base twin turbo kit, is $49,000 US dollars. I don't think any of the VF Engineering kits cost that much. Up next, you've also got a supercharger kit for the Performante, and I assume they're also going to do one for the Evo and other things like that. But the Performante kit is $36,995, and it generates 850 horsepower and 596 pound-feet of torque. Less torque than the other Huracan kit, which is interesting and also unexpected. But that's pretty cool. The Lamborghini Huracan, I mean, there's also the R35 and the Supra, you know, the staples of the car scene. You know, whenever you watch 1320, that racing channel, or just any street racing video or drag strip video, you know, a lot of the go-to cars seem to be the R35, the Supra, and for good reason. And in the supercar scene, you've got the Huracan. The Huracan is not a bad choice because you've got so many things in the aftermarket for you to choose from. And so many people know how to work on them, usually, which is very, very cool. And before I conclude the last episode of season 1 of The Garage, what do you guys think of modifying supercars? Or just rare cars? You know, is it sacrilegious or is it cool? Like if I bought, let's say, an M-Spec Nur, for instance, and it was one of the Silica Breath cars. I think only like 3 or maybe a little more exist in the world or were ever made. Imagine I got one of those and said, CUS body kit, crazy lights, we're gonna single turbo it, swap out the block with a billet engine block from Bullet Engineering, and all that sort of stuff. Would that be sacrilegious? In my head, it borderline would be. The only crazy car projects I would ever be willing to do, I'll name them right now. 2JZ Mazda RX-7. I'd probably find an empty chassis to avoid all of the rotary purists from attacking me. But a 2JZ RX-7, I just think that sound really suits the RX-7. There is, of course, the M-Spec Nur, which is one I will actually do. And then there is the CLK GTR. That's the crazy one. The CLK GTR, the reason why I even thought of this is because there is a version of the CLK GTR street car called the Super Sport, I believe. And it has the equivalent of the Pagani Zonda engine. That got me thinking, what if we took a CLK GTR street car and did something similar and either took out the original CLK GTR engine or found one of the Super Sports and essentially made it into a Hypersport by putting in a Huayra engine, the twin-turbo V12. It might not sound as good. I can't remember the Huayra sounding that good. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've heard a Huayra. But imagine a CLK GTR with a Huayra engine in it. The only other thing I might change on the CLK GTR is I might change up the gearbox a little bit to work more like a modern sequential or dual clutch transmission. But other than that, and here's another engine swap that I think would actually be really cool, is taking a Huracan and swapping the 5.2 V10 out in favor of one of the older 5.0 V10s of the old Gallardos. I think that would make the Huracan sound so much better. The Huracans are great, but it's difficult to make them sound different or in some cases good. You know, when you install an exhaust, you might make it a little more raspy or you might make it louder, but the note never seems to change, in my opinion. And so I feel like the solution there, the ridiculous solution, incredibly expensive most likely, is to put the 5.0 in. It might make it a little slower, but in the end, who cares? Twin turbo it, and then it's faster than everything. Just go to, because Underground Racing also does twin turbo kits for the 5.0 cars, not just the 5.2s. So if you wanted to do a twin turbo kit on a Gallardo, you could do that too. So yeah. But anyways, that is the final episode of The Garage Season 1. Let me know what you guys thought of this season, of this series, and whether I should do more. If you want Season 2 of The Garage, let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any suggestions, do it. And as always, take it easy. Keep it crazy. I'm Tom the Racing Joker, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.